It seems that the list of young men in the industry that Diddy allegedly S.A'd is longer than we first thought. Word on the street is that Bryshere Gray is one of Diddy and other industry men's victims. Youngster, there are rumors that Will Smith was also involved. Furthermore, when Bryshere tried to expose them, they allegedly got him banned from Hollywood and ejected. So what is the real truth? I believe it's fair to say that we are currently living in the Diddy era, which is still going strong, and Bryshere Gray is the most recent individual to be accused of being a victim of Diddy. Bryshere, one of the biggest breakout stars of the television series Empire, has always confused fans with her supposedly abrupt disappearance from the industry after performing on such a major show. As it happens, Bryshere's choice to leave the industry was apparently forced by a few powerful people, so it wasn't entirely his own. As you can see, after Empire concluded, there were high expectations for his career, but he was never able to live up to them. Charlie Mack, Bryshere's future manager, was someone he met when he was younger. Bryshere's career took a drastic change when he had an online audition for Empire because to Charlie's connections in Hollywood. When he was chosen to play Hakeem Leon on Empire, one of the top TV shows at the time, his career really took off. This was a noteworthy achievement on his part. A few weeks after Bryshere joined Empire, Charlie introduced her to Will Smith, and the two kind of bonded as mentor and mentee. Being able to work with a talent like Will as a rookie in Hollywood should have made Bryshere feel incredibly lucky, but unfortunately, it ended up being his biggest mistake. Will reportedly wanted to give Bryshere a head start in the music industry because he had always wanted to be a rapper. That's why it's said that Will took Bryshere to Diddy. It seemed that way, at least. In retrospect, considering what we now know about Diddy and Will Smith, that should have raised some significant questions. But at the time, nobody knew about Diddy's significant baggage. To put things in perspective, there have been reports for over 20 years that Diddy and Will Smith were on the do not tell list. Many in the profession have accused them of horrific things they have done to other men in the field. For example, S.A'd, a person who knew Will well, disclosed that Will's first marriage to Sherry Zampino ended after Cherry found out he was having an affair. Alexis said, "I will listen to them when Jada comes out as gay," and her bearded husband acknowledges that his first marriage ended when she walked into him taking care of his sugar daddy Benny Medina. It was a silent benefit that she was his first wife. Because of Jaguar, S.A'd wasn't the only one to discuss Will. Wright also came out to reveal that Will had multiple relationships with younger men in his field. According to her, Will first presents himself to the men as a mentor before forcing them into a relationship that upsets them emotionally. They both identify as bisexual, behave weirdly at home.
Both bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills. Bryshere Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed the help.
This makes us reevaluate Will's coaching approach in a way. Furthermore, it's interesting to note that despite having one of the biggest names in the industry as a mentor, Bryshere's music career never really took off. It's also said that he recommended him to Diddy for additional music mentoring. Is it possible for us to talk about Diddy's earlier probe into claims that he had an affair with a younger man? In 2013, there were suspicions that Diddy's sexual relationships with minor guys were being investigated by federal officials. According to a U.S. District Court filing, during a debriefing session with federal investigators, James Roseman, the music manager turned cocaine kingpin, allegedly had questions regarding entertainers' sexual preferences, including whether Sean Diddy Combs was having intimate relationships with underage boys. Upon the eventual release of Cassie's lawsuit, Diddy's real identity came to light. Cassie said that Diddy was partial to male escorts. She would get scared, but he would make her watch, sometimes even having sex with the escorts. Cassie's lawsuit undoubtedly gave Diddy's victims more leverage, and a number of them have come out to talk about the abuse they suffered when they were with Diddy. Supporters are now asserting that Bryshere is one of Diddy's victims, or in the event that Diddy isn't, then one of the other influential business people. As you can see, after Empire ended, Bryshere's life took a drastic turn for the worse. While most agree that he made every mistake, some believe that his experiences in the business are what led him to begin acting strangely. It appeared as though Bryshere had been banished by the music industry, despite his plans to tour and record a few decently performing songs following Empire. Producers and musicians avoided him, and he was turned down for many film roles. He was on the radio for very little time. Rumor has it that Bryshere was blacklisted and expelled from the industry after he refused to work on a project that didn't feel right for him, upsetting a number of industry officials. This traumatized him and negatively affected his mental condition, which is just what Will's friend Giagor Wright said. I'm talking about her allegation that he pretends to be a mentor to the men before putting pressure on them to enter a traumatizing relationship. Yes, Bryshere's behavior was caused by trauma, which is why it started. In July 2020, a woman by the name of Candace ran into the streets and told others that her husband had physically abused her, accusing her of being a victim of domestic abuse. When the bystander brought her to the police station and identified herself as Bryshere's husband, we discovered that Bryshere was married.
Thanks for joining us. Up first tonight, we're following breaking news in the arrest of Bryshere Gray, one of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight, we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had assaulted her for hours inside their Goodyear home.
We're going to see hours of recently uncovered video from his arrest in July tonight. After discovering that the star had mistreated her for hours inside their Goodyear home, his wife made the decision to notify the police. She told the authorities that Bryshere put his hands on her and choked her until she passed out. She went on to say that he groped her after getting angry with her for going to him about her infidelity. The alleged transgression was serious. Gray's wife contacted him 911 after she managed to get away from him at a Goodyear QT.
The alleged crime, brutal. Gray's wife calling 911 after escaping him at a Goodyear QT, claiming Gray punched her hundreds of times, strangled her, and threatened her with a knife.
In addition to misdemeanor aggravated felony and misdemeanor, he was charged with criminal disorderly behavior. After his mugshot went viral on social media, people all around the world commented on how different he looked, with some even questioning if he was a drug user. After pleading guilty to the DV, he was sentenced to 3 years of probation and 10 days in county jail. Besides, this wasn't even his first encounter with the law. Bryshere went to auditions in an attempt to revive his career, and an insider claims that he even offered himself to a producer for a part at half the salary. But based on how people reacted to this issue, it seems that no one wanted to deal with him since he was banned. It's not his fault that he wants to succeed and trust his elders. It's their fault that they took advantage of him. In short, he had no trustworthy adults in his life who he could rely on. It seems like they were all attempting to gratify their cravings. With regard to Smith, it's evident from simply observing his family that something is plainly off. But do you guys think Diddy or other rappers in the industry took advantage of Bryshere as well? Let me know what you're thinking, and in the meanwhile, don't forget to check my other videos.